Every generation has its standard. For New Orleans, it wore number 9. He arrived with questions.
I felt like this is where I belong, to be a part of not only the rebuilding of an organization, but also a city and a region.
But left with answers, carved into history.
The Saints have won the Super Bowl.
Records fell. Sundays changed. Belief became permanent. Now, the game makes it official.
It's truly an honor and a pleasure to congratulate you, Drew. You've had an amazing career. You're deserving of being first ballot into the Hall.
You are the greatest Saints player of all time and well-deserved honor. The work you put in was special.
I knew he was going to get in. And being the first ballot means a whole lot to a lot of players around. He deserved it.
I'll never give up. Great job.
Your leadership was so imminent and so apparent post-Katrina.
Drew Brees didn't just play here.
Quick throw from Brees. Goal. Touchdown!
He changed what here meant.
You know, when I leave this game, I would like for people to look at me and say that, hey, Drew Brees played the game the way it was supposed to be played. He left the game better than when he found it. You know, he did things the right way, and he was a pro.
We knew long before the gold jacket ever did.
Pigs have flown. Hell is frozen over.
Our GOAT.
There's only one word that comes to mind. Greatness.
Welcome to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And we say happy Wednesday morning to you right here, folks. February the 11th. Buddy Songy in the house here with Jonathan Poche. Marty Campbell always making sure the cameras are right and we are on the air. As always, we hope all of you are doing well as we are going to give you a wrap-up show today. We've got plenty on our plate. You see the tribute to Drew Brees and Jonathan Poche. Good to be back with you. As folks, it has been crazy over here at Tigers Roar, both our Pelican Sports Radio and TV. But JP, excellent tribute to Drew Brees. Of course, the first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think anybody would question that. And we say happy Tigers Roar Wednesday to you, JP. But I know Drew Brees meant a lot to you growing up, and you've told me on many occasions, Bud, man, I never thought I'd see a Super Bowl. And of course, Sean Payton and Drew Brees and those Saints brought it in here. So we start off with a little bit of tribute. Yes, we're wearing the sunglasses. If you watched LSU and Matt McMahon and LSU basketball last night, you need a couple of pair of sunglasses to watch that. Lady Tigers also got beat at Texas last week, came back and beat Auburn on the road. We'll get into that. Lane Kiffin, we give you a little bit more from a press conference. And as always, JP, good to be with you here on Tigers Roar.
All right, Bud, man, great to see you. Happy to be back here on Tigers Roar. Certainly appreciate all of you tuning in. And don't forget about our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Catch all the old Tigers Roar, everything we do at the Pelican. Catch it right there on the YouTube page. Wrapping up football season, Bud, man. Super Bowl Sunday this past weekend. A lot to talk about. Of course, Drew Brees. It's final. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Of course, there's nobody that ever wear the black and gold to deserve it more. All the individual accolades, of course, Super Bowl 44 MVP, all the memories and all the hope that he gave the city of New Orleans and the region, not only in Louisiana, but, of course, the whole Gulf Coast. Can't say enough good things about him. He was a consummate pro, elevated the standard of New Orleans football. We always talk about it, Bud, man. It's hard to go back to rump roast after you've had filet mignon, and certainly Drew Brees was filet. And certainly happy for him, happy for his family, well-deserved. We have a lot to talk about. Of course, baseball right around the corner. Friday will be the first game, or the first official game of the season for Coach Jay Johnson and crew. Looking to repeat from 2025 championship, and Coach Jay Johnson has another loaded roster. So we have a whole lot to talk about, Bud, man, and not at least of which was the biggest football game of the year.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you, this is not going to be a pretty minute or two summary of the NFL and the Super Bowl. JP, it's kind of crazy. I don't know if this is a trend or what. But Indiana and Miami, nobody would have predicted them to play for it all in college. Indiana, as we know, first team to go 16-0. Miami got in because of their win over Notre Dame at the beginning of the season and could have been left out, but they did a great job. But that was not what we expected with the culmination of another great college season. Then you get into the NFL playoffs, and you had a team that went 3-14 in New England get all the way to the Super Bowl. And then, of course, Seattle, the best defense in the league by far. But, JP, I am not, and you've seen our shirts before with Roger Goodell and the blue and the red nose. I thought the guy was making 45 to 50 million. JP, now he's making over 60 million. And quite frankly, I don't want to cuss on this show because we do have a lot of young kids that watch it. But that was a poo game, build up, performance, dumb bunny at halftime, whatever you want to call him. And quite frankly, my phone's blowing up in the third quarter with people thinking this is one of the worst Super Bowls in modern day history. 12-0, 19-0, whatever, before New England scratches on the board. And so, yeah, we finish up with football. I'm hoping 26 is going to be appreciably better. But my point of combining the college and the pro is that there's a lot of parity in both games now, JP.
Yeah, you said it, but man. 12-0 at half, and everybody's talking about the halftime performance. Of course, I didn't pay attention to it. It's not why I watch football games and halftime, really, with young kids. That's the only time you have to get up, get something to eat, use the bathroom, make sure they have everything they need. So I had no problem avoiding the halftime entertainment this year. But I agree, one of the most boring football games I can remember watching in the NFL this season, much less in the Super Bowl. But give you credit to Seattle. They absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage, the defense. The head coach becomes the first Super Bowl winning coach to call the defense during the game. Maybe set a new trend here for the NFL. But credit to them. They get a new head coach. They bring in a new quarterback in Sam Darnold, and they absolutely dominate the New England Patriots. The Patriots might have been the worst Super Bowl team that we've seen compete in the last 5, 6, 7 years. A lot of breaks went their way, not only in the playoffs, but during the regular season. Of course, the Broncos had Bo Nix go down. The second to the last play of the AFC champion before the AFC championship. Just a lot of breaks went their way, and unfortunately, Seattle showed that they were a dominant, much more dominant team. And it was kind of boring in the first half, Bud, man. Didn't pay attention to the commercials. I know there's an entertainment factor that goes into it, but I totally agree. I thought this was one of the most boring Super Bowls in memory.
And AI has changed so many things. You don't know what we're going to be looking at here in the years to come. But we know, listen, I didn't even think the commercials were up to snuff. I'm not trying to be a sad sack here and all negative on the Super Bowl, but Roger Goodell, and as soon as he gets out of there, I'm going to be happy. I'm not a fan of his, and I hope they boo him mercifully here at the end of April. Want to address a lot of talking points, JP, and you and I were talking about this as soon as I came in today. Will Campbell at left tackle. They have another weak guy at left guard, and I'm going to put a lot of the onus on, first of all, with Will Campbell. Everybody knows that he's going to always be the answer to a trivia question. Name the only LSU offensive lineman who was ever donned the number 7 jersey. Now, you can't wear 7 when you're an offensive lineman, but as we know what 7 means, and of course BK gave him that 7. That being said, JP, I'm looking from him from a technical standpoint. Number 1, he plays too high. When you're blocking up here, everybody is going to bull rush you, and so 14 hurries, numerous sacks, but JP, he's been getting beat by all these edge rushers. What in the heck is New England thinking?
Yep.
You've got to call plays. You've got to let those guys come in and dump it over them. You got to give him help with a tight end. You got to give him help with a running back. And you got to move Drake May. And I thought, as we said, look, they were lucky to get in. Ended up being 14-3. They did not have the toughest schedule. But Will Campbell, as good a man as he is. And, oh, by the way, in case you missed it yesterday, he did meet with the media. He was so distraught after the game, and I know that there were going to be a barrage of questions about what happened. He did not want to meet with the media after the game. He did do that yesterday. after they got back. But playing way too high, you got to get low. You got to, on the offensive line, you got to use leverage. Will Campbell's blocking like this. You got to get up underneath there. And, of course, as we know, JP, I got to ask you, because this has haunted Will ever since the draft, but he's a little short with the arms. 32 3/8. Usually an offensive lineman has their arm length at minimum 33, many of them 34 and more. So he's got to make some physical changes at the body. I think they'll watch film, but I was not impressed with what Vrabel, the play calling, and the offensive guys did to protect those guys. They've had this problem all 3 playoff games, ever since the postseason, and they never did. What do you think is going to go away? So I wasn't impressed. Great Vrabel and the guys made it there. Not impressed with New England's game plan. Certainly not impressed with Drake May as the quarterback for New England as well.
Yeah, and Bud, man, you said it. Will Campbell, he's shown signs that he needs help throughout the whole season and throughout the playoffs. And obviously, Mike Vrabel, the New England brass, they loved Will Campbell. I mean, through the draft process, they interviewed with him. Mike Vrabel, wrestled with him. Will Campbell has said he doesn't want to play for any other coach besides Vrabel. The makeup, the character, obviously, overshadowed some of the shortcomings with the physical build, if you will. But yeah, you said it. I mean, give the guy a little bit of help. Put a tight end, put a running back over there to chip. I thought when New England went to tempo during the Super Bowl, Seattle did a great job not only matching the tempo, but calling exotic blitzes out of tempo for defense. It's not easy to do, but they were all on the same page. They brought pressure from all different angles, from the cornerback, from the nickel. The safety was blitzing. They brought linebackers. They made Drake May look like a young quarterback, very young quarterback, playing in his first Super Bowl. And unfortunately, making it back to the big game, Bud, man, is not guaranteed. I mean, look at Joe Burrow. He still hasn't made it back. Losing the big one certainly plays into a player's career. And, yeah, Drake May, I thought when the lights were brightest, he kind of shriveled up a little bit. And Seattle just physically beat New England up at the line of scrimmage. And with the Mike Vrabel coach team, you'd think that New England would pride themselves on being more physical, but that just was not the case on Sunday.
And if you missed the parallel in me connecting the dots, folks, is that Indiana was more dominant with their defense and their line of scrimmage play. Yes, they had the Heisman Trophy. Everybody knows about Mendoza and the great job he did. Yes, they had a couple great running backs. But we're getting back, JP, to the old adages of college and pro football. Defense wins championships. And I don't know how good Seattle would be in other years in the Super Bowl, but they were head and shoulders above New England. And let's go ahead and start rolling some of those highlights from Super Bowl 60 out in California. And, oh, by the way, Sam Darnold, even though he won, lost money on the game. And here we go, right out of the gate. I love Kenneth Walker III, JP.
Yeah, he really did shine this whole postseason, Bud, man. The offense kind of did go through Kenneth Walker. Strong young man. The bottom half can run through tackles. Did a great job. Got the Super Bowl MVP, and here's more defense from Seattle.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Look, you're going to see Drake May on the ground a lot there. And, he's got to get rid of the football as well. He did not have a great game. But when you've got a defense all up in you, it's hard to process and think quick on your feet. And once again, New England, that was a fluke. But there you see Seattle. And there are a lot of nicknames, and they're well-deserved for their defense, JP.
Yeah, Sam Darnold did a good job. This is the first time Seattle does get in the end zone. Here we are in the second half already. Push the score up to 19-0. You figure at this point, it's all over but the crying from New England, but they did not give up. They did kind of push it down, make it a closer game, Bud, man. Here's Drake May with a nice pass down to the end zone. I believe this is Hunter Henry caught this one, Bud, man.
Is that the Hollins kid?
Yeah, it's the Holland kid. Yep.
Yeah, and of course, Kayshon Boutte did not have many opportunities.
Right.
Look, it was so many 3 and outs and so much pressure. Hollins at 13, he was their best player on the field as a wide receiver.
Yeah, and you mentioned Kayshon Boutte. He did have a couple will go down into the books as drops, but they were really tough catches. Drake May didn't put it in a great spot while he was fighting through contact. It wasn't a great game from any receiver wearing the white and red, except for number 13. Here's a bad decision by Drake May throwing in a double coverage. Safety makes a good play and runs it back. Great field position for Seattle Seahawks.
Once again, Mike McDonald in his first Super Bowl opportunity. Yes, as you said, JP, he was calling the defensive signals, and the skinny that we got the last couple of days is that Seattle, not only were they great all year, but they changed up some things, and as you said, had some disguised blitz. Here we go. Once again, a scoop, actually a ball that ended up being an INT for a touchdown after him getting hit. It was a fluke play, but you just can't win football games when you're under this kind of duress. Look at that pressure and look at the numbers give Seattle the advantage on almost every play.
Right, 3 guys meeting at the quarterback. It would have been an incomplete pass, I believe. The arm was going forward, but Nwosu in a great spot. I love the shot of his dad in the stands who didn't have much of a reaction in the Super Bowl. But another touchdown for Seattle, for New England. Getting the score a little bit closer, but man, it was domination from start to the end.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, we're going to take a quick time out. We give you a little bit of recap. We are going to let you hear from Lane Kiffin. Don't forget, by the way, LSU men got hammered last night by Arkansas. That has been a tough go. We don't know what happened at the end of the year, but it is like a crowd, maybe 2,500 in there. They're going the right direction. But on the women's side of it, hard sellout Saturday night, Valentine's night, LSU trying to break a streak. The Lady Gamecocks from South Carolina have beaten LSU 17 straight consecutive times in a period of 14 years. We shall see if they break that streak, and we'll obviously set you up for baseball. The start of Jay Johnson, 2 out of 3. Meatloaf sings it all the time. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Well, 2 out of 3 natties is mighty good, and they're going to have an opportunity. They are loaded with an incredible amount of pitching, hitting, position players, and, of course, the best coach in the country, Jay Johnson. We'll get into all of that when we return on a Wednesday edition of Tigers Roar right here with Buddy Songy and Jonathan Poche, as well as Marty Campbell on Pelican Sports TV.
From the versatile Mazda CX-50 to the bold and elegant Mazda CX-90 to the best-selling Mazda CX-5. Don't just move. It's time to move and be moved, and come experience Mazda right now at Team Mazda on Airline.
When I started this practice over 35 years ago, I had one goal: to treat every patient like family. And over the years, I've watched kids grow up in this office, come back as parents, and now I'm seeing their kids in the same chair. That kind of trust, it's not something we take for granted. This isn't just where we do dentistry. It's where we make people feel at home. Frugier Family Dentistry, where you treat it like family. Call or visit FrugierFamilyDentistry.com to schedule.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
What an appropriate song coming back from the break. Misery loves company. If you were in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, you were miserable and you didn't have much company. Got to do better, but it is a rough direction that LSU men's basketball is trending, so we'll continue to move on. Lane Kiffin, JP, did you ever in your wildest dreams think he would sign 17 freshman recruits and bring in 43 from the transfer portal? Before we get into and let you hear a little bit of Lane Kiffin and recapping that portal class, JP, we talked about it last year. They brought in 18 from the portal. This year, 43. This is a new, rebuilt football team, but it is amazing. He gets on the plane to go chase Sam Levitt and invariably gets the signature. Gets on the plane to Atlanta and go chases Jordan Seaton and his uncle, gets the signature. Every position across the board now is deeper, but we don't know what kind of chemistry, what kind of leadership, and obviously, JP, you know I'm a big stickler. LSU's got to become more physical and not finesse. We'll see if Mr. Savage, Nick Savage, the new strength and conditioning coach, can bring them along. But your assessment of what Lane Kiffin brought in his first year recruiting for LSU.
Yeah, Budman, to answer your question, maybe in my wildest dreams, you look back to a year ago, BK had to match the $1 million fund and brought in all the money and support from the boosters for the NIL. In the transfer portal, and they went all in the transfer portal. Like you said, brought in 18, and they thought, wow, this is cool. You're getting guys like Mansour Delane to come play, guys, high quality player. But this haul from Lane Kiffin, I mean, it was almost like if he saw somebody he wanted, he was going to make a trip in the plane from MMR to the parents' house, sit down with that kid. He wasn't leaving without a contract signed. The guy put in work while juggling a lot of different balls in the air with, player retention, who's leaving in the portal, who's coming back. A quarterback room that had 0 players, Bud, man. You bring in 3 guys that all could start in college football, highly recruited guys. Sam Levitt, I think, is the real deal, Bud, man. Excited to see what he does for the purple and gold. But the offensive line, you wrap it up by going to get the best offensive tackle in the class in Jordan Seaton. You talk about a home run hit. You talk about the 2 guys that could have waited until last Wednesday in Brown and Richards. Those guys signed a month ago, Bud, man. That was to start the class. Then you bring in all these portal guys. You wrap it up with the 2 guys from Ole Miss, the number 1 edge rusher in the portal, a great linebacker. DJ Daughtery. It's like whatever there was a thought of a hole or something that might need to be improved, they wasted no time in going to get playmakers, not to mention all the receivers they went and got. And they plucking kids from Kansas State, Florida. These are playmaking kids. I'm excited, Bud, man. I think he absolutely crushed this portal. It's hard to say he could have done anything better. Goes and gets exactly who he wants. If there was a guy on the board that he wanted he didn't get, I think there should be a feature story put out on that guy of why he was able to deny Lane Kiffin when nobody else seemed to be able to. And it's not like LSU's the only team with money, only program with money. These contracts are pretty much standard now, Bud, man. These guys are coming to the teams telling me, this is how much money I want between X and Z, and if you can't meet that, I'll go somewhere else. But when he said it just feels different at LSU, I think that moniker is going to stick around with Lane Kiffin as long as he's in Baton Rouge because he continues to use that phrase. It just feels different. It's just different. It's like an Olympic training facility. You have the best athletes in the world walking around, so you just feel different on your visits. But, man, that feeling is starting to catch around. And I know Baton Rouge is excited. I know the purple and gold is excited. But just on paper, you'd be hard-pressed to convince me this wasn't an A-plus portal and signing class period for Lane Kiffin.
No doubt about it. And, look, forget the ratings. Last year, the 18 that they brought in were considered the number 1 portal class in the country. Here's Lane Kiffin meeting with the media after about 2 months of his original post teleconference and press conference when he was announced as a coach. Here's Lane Kiffin meeting with the media, just a little bit, 5 or 6 minutes, recapping signing day out at LSU last week.
Kind of non-traditional signing days nowadays in the way that they're set up. So this really is kind of just a recap. Have not spoke to you guys in a long time. And at the end, open up questions about things that have happened over the last couple months. But, as you look at the class, when you combine the high school class and portal class, which I think kind of the way you got to look at it now, almost if you were in the NFL and you took the draft class and the free agency, if they were the same time of year, and you looked at them together. I feel like that's kind of the way to look at it now as you remake your rosters each year. So it's kind of crazy to think about 3 new quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 10 wide receivers, 9 offensive line, 2 tight ends, 6 defensive line, 2 linebackers, 3 defensive backs, and 3 specialists. So, and that's not obviously counting the numbers of players that were here that were potentially leaving and re-signed here, which now is obviously a part of it too. So that's a lot of numbers. And I do think that our staff did a really good job in a very challenging situation. Now, luckily we were recruiting to LSU and all the great things with that made us able to put together this class, but that was a challenging time. You know, it's been discussed before, the calendar is what it is, and, you know, to try and put together a staff at the same time as trying to keep the current players immediately before the portal opened, as they were preparing for a bowl game with the previous staff, and then just kind of uncharted waters by our staff, a number of our staff, offensively going back and forth between the playoff run at the last place and then trying to put together this group here. So I do get really excited when I think about, okay, you know, these are a lot of really good players, a lot of really talented players coming together and whatever rankings, #1 portal class and that stuff. To be able to do that with all those challenges, to me, even excites me even more as you look to the future of LSU and what we'll be able to do as we're here for a full year. And we've been able to recruit the high school kids and especially in-state kids to have the relationships there to make the high school class even better than what it was. But then as you look at the portal, to have our own players, and really over the time since the portal has come about, basically where we've been, for the most part, the players that we want to stay when the portal opens stays where we are on our roster. So that really excites me because I think we were able to do all this with a really good staff. Billy, general manager, did a great job in transition here, including a number of people in the building, especially in the recruiting department, that were able to help us in the transition and do a great job. To be able to now look into next year and have all that set, what everybody's roles are, and what they're supposed to do in that, really excites me. So where that puts us now is that we have a really talented roster. Does that mean we're going to win games? Not necessarily. Does that mean they're going to be a great team? No. We have a lot of work to do now. We had a team meeting this morning right here a few hours ago and talked a lot about that. So you all came together and came from all these different places, okay, but now you've got to put all that aside and you've got to be able to work for the betterment of the program and the team and to put all that together, and that'll be a ton of work for a long time now in this offseason. Defensively, obviously keeping mostly the defensive staff allows us schematically over there, not much change, but offensively we have all the new players and a new system to put in here. So excited about the work ahead. One of the good things, obviously, about all of this change is that you do have a lot of really talented players, so that is a big challenge to be able to say, okay, can we put them all together so that they play really well? And, you know, we've been able to do that really the last couple of years at the previous place of a ton of turnover, especially last year, and this time a year ago having a much different roster and turnover and all kinds of players go to the NFL and I think 2 returning starters, and we're able to do what we did. So this is a great challenge. Glad that we're here doing it. The whole town was amazing in recruiting to help bring all these kids in, and the hospitality that they showed them at the hotels, restaurants, on campus was unbelievable, and they could feel it. There were all kinds of meetings at the end of the official visits when you talk through, okay, what did you think about your experience, parents, the players, and they said, really, it was amazing. The LSU experience and the Baton Rouge experience and how they felt coming here to visit was a huge part. I know a lot gets played about NIL and those things, but a ton of them talking about a huge part of why they came here is the way that they felt on their trip here to the city of Baton Rouge and to LSU, how they treated them.
And, of course, that was just a little snippet and 4 or 5 minutes of Lane Kiffin recap. And, JP, I don't think we're going to have nearly the access we've had in the spring. I don't think we're going to have the number of press conferences, but it is just different. And right now, everybody really fired up about the future of LSU football with Lane Kiffin, Billy Glasscock, his GM, and all of those great coaches. Retained a lot of the good defensive guys. And, JP, you know I love me some Blake Baker, but going against that quarterback in practice, hopefully you'll get better. But here's the catch-22, JP. I talked to Jerry Donato about this many years ago. He said, buddy, when you're having trouble defending the quarterback, you don't get better at practice because nobody lets the quarterback get hit. All the X's and O's, though, that Kiffin and Blake Baker will have, burning the midnight oil, talking strategy, X's and O's, it really sets up LSU. I'm going to say it on this February the 11th. Oh, by the way, don't forget next week on Wednesday is Ash Wednesday with the start of Lent. But I think LSU preseason 9, 10, or 11 going into the year, JP.
Yeah, I completely agree, Bob, man. A lot of momentum right now for the purple and gold. Of course, Lane Kiffin's been around the block. He's had unceremonious exits from a lot of different spots, major college football programs. But for him to be the one saying that LSU is just different, look, I get that the girl that you're dating is always the prettiest, right? She's prettier than the last ones. But LSU has certainly just felt like a destination job ever since Lane Kiffin's been talking about it. Of course, we all wanted to see Blake Baker continue to be the defensive coordinator. Going to have a lot more pieces this year, in my opinion, to kind of do what he likes to do and get after the quarterback. And, yeah, but, man, a lot of optimism, a lot of excitement, and why not? I mean, everybody's 0-0 right now, but LSU's offseason has put a lot of people excited with a lot of expectations, and I completely agree. They will be inside top 15. We'll just see how high they get seeded preseason.
Quick timeout. By the way, we want to remind you that it is the start of baseball season. There are a bunch of great products sponsored today. You see our hat, Bayou Apparel, everythinglsu.com. Go to that website for all of your T-shirts, your sweatshirts, and the latest with LSU baseball. 3 Hall of Famers to follow, folks, as we'll once again give you a little snippet of Drew Brees with the Hall of Fame ceremony. Kim Mulkey, Jay Johnson, they're all going to be Hall of Famers. Drew Brees got in. Mulkey and Jay Johnson certainly going to be there when their heyday is over. Back with Drew Brees and more on a Wednesday edition of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremontis.com.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
From the versatile Mazda CX-50 to the bold and elegant Mazda CX-90 to the best-selling Mazda CX-5. Don't just move. It's time to move and be moved, and come experience Mazda right now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And, of of course, goes by and see our great friend Devin Holly over at Treads and Care in Central. All right, JP, I'm going to let you set it up, and I know that you and I have talktalked about this many, many times. Oh, by the way, quick grade on Kellen Moore and Shuck in year one. B plus, solid B. What do you have them?
Yeah, I'm giving Kellen Moore either a B- or a C+. Depending on how this offseason goes. They have to make moves, bud, man. Can't just rely on the draft. So a lot of valuable free agents will be available this offseason. So right now, I give him a solid C+ with potential to move into the B- category. Tyler Shuck, though, got to give him a lot of credit, bud, man. Put in a very tough situation as a rookie quarterback. Waited a few weeks to get his time. And then came on very strong, was second in the Rookie of the Year voting, won the fan vote, Pepsi Zero Rookie of the Year. So obviously put a lot of good stuff on tape. The Saints players certainly rallied around him. They think he is the future quarterback. In my opinion, bud, man, at least Tyler Shuck, you want to see him. You wouldn't mind him seeing playing more. Spencer Rattler, that experiment is gone. Derek Carr flirting with a comeback to the NFL. That's being talked about a lot because the Saints would have to be required some type of compensation for him. They still own the rights for 26 seasons. So, in my opinion, Kellen Moore gets a C+. Tyler Shuck, solid B in their first seasons.
I don't think the car can drive anymore. I'm not hep on Derek Carr coming back. Here is Drew Brees, a little bit of his Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Canton last week.
20 seasons, 13 Pro Bowls, and the second most passing yards, completions, and touchdowns in NFL history. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Hall of Famer Drew Brees.
It's still pretty surreal. You know, there's just been, I think moment by moment it becomes more real. Obviously there's that first knock on the door and all of a sudden there's Dan Fouts telling you that, in his gold jacket telling you that you're the next member of the Hall of Fame. And then, you know, honestly a few hours ago walking in the room with the class for the first time. And, you know, there's Luke Kuechly, who I shared so many battles with, you know, and honestly the greatest defensive player I ever played against. It's a guy who I have so much respect and admiration for, and like truly brought out the best in me and us every time we played him. Like just set a standard that was just unmatched. To see him and be able to share some memories and moments. And Larry Fitzgerald, I've always had such a special bond with. You know, we were young players at the same time early in our careers, and I knew I was never going to get a chance to play with him because, you know, they were going to never let him out of Arizona, and I was never leaving New Orleans. So we only got to play in Pro Bowls together, which is always such a joy. And honestly, it was like something I just relished the opportunity to do. You know, Vinatieri, arguably one of the greatest kickers of all time, if not the greatest, and two really like Hall of Fame careers on two separate teams, if you really want to look at it. And then the Roger Craig one is pretty remarkable because, like, really when I say we used to watch old Bill Walsh Niner film, and of course, you know, it was Montana and Rice getting a lot of but Roger Craig was the secret sauce. He was the guy who really revolutionized the all-purpose back mantra, and I think about all the guys that I played with that benefited from that. You know, guys like LaDainian Tomlinson and, you know, Reggie Bush and Pierre Thomas and Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara and Darren Sproles and all these guys, you know, and it's like, man, really, really unbelievable when I look at the class and just how special it is and just how honored and humbled I am to be a part of it.
Drew, you're a man of great detail. Do you remember the day and the time and what you felt when the knock came?
Oh yeah, it was what? So my son and I share a birthday. You know, Balin was born on my 30th birthday. By the way, that kid, you know, is 17 years old now and he's driving, which is nuts. So that our birthday was on the Thursday, January 15, and so then that weekend was kind of, you know, his birthday weekend, and Monday rolled around, Martin Luther King Day, and my daughter was like, "Dad, I want to take you out to dinner for your birthday," and it was just like, oh, like this is great, you know. So she's like, "Be ready by 5." So my wife and daughter are ready by 5. They're gonna take me out to eat, and the boys are gonna come too, and the boys are kind of dragging. They're upstairs. I'm like, boys, like Rylan said, 5 o'clock, we got to leave, you know, let's respect that. And boys are dragging. I'm starting to get upset. And little did I know that Britt had told him, hey, stall. And all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. And I'm getting ready to get in the car and drive away. I'm like, we need to teach these boys a lesson, right? And then there's Dan Fouts. And it's like, oh, you guys set me up.
I'm ready when you are. All right, so there you have a little bit of Drew Brees. Once again, congratulations to him and his family, first ballot. All right, quickly, JP, biggest game of the year this weekend. Kim Mulkey recapping. And once again, 7:30 Saturday night on ESPN. Game day is going to be there, and they're going to actually tip off at 7:40. Game day's been there before 2 years ago when LSU hosted the Gamecocks. From South Carolina. They've got a streak of 17 consecutive wins. Here's Kim Mulkey recapping the win over Auburn and of course, getting you ready for South Carolina this weekend.
We've been playing good basketball. I didn't think that we played bad at Texas until the last 7 minutes. It was a 4-point ball game starting the fourth quarter. We lost our composure. And honestly, that's probably expected a little bit on the road. We'd already beaten them a couple of weeks earlier. You're going into a great atmosphere, playing against a Final Four team. They're hungry. I didn't use my last 2 timeouts on purpose. We've got to grow up a little bit in that moment. So I didn't leave there thinking, oh, man. I left there going, okay, let's go back to the basics. Let's do what we do. And I thought today, you saw some flashes of what we're capable of, and really, I got to rest a lot of players today.
Any more in the room? Yep, right here in the second row.
Coach, you had 19 turnovers today. What do you need to do?
Look who got them. Okay, that burns me up because I was like 19 turnovers, and then I look and I go, okay, who got those turnovers? And it's really kids that haven't been on the floor much of late. But they still got to play. They still have to help us rest the main players. And so that's not good. I thought it was turnovers that were our turnovers, not something they created. So did I answer your question or did I interrupt you?
No, you're okay. I was just going to ask you and even with those new players, like what do you want to do to help clean that up moving forward?
Well, talk to them about them. You get in a film room and you tell them, when you have an opportunity to play, these are not trash minutes. Not in my world. I'm evaluating you every time you go on that floor. And so that's what you tell them. Production matters to me based on minutes played. And it's not just because you're a freshman. It's because I've got to make decisions down the road when you get in foul trouble, when you need this, when you can do that. So, yeah, we will. We've already addressed it in the locker room, but we will address it in the film room.
Auburn was 0 for 14 on threes in the first half. Was that your plan to make them shoot those, knowing that that's not a strength of Auburn?
Yes. I started a small post play today. Grace and Z are 2 freshmen, outstanding freshmen, and I started them for a reason. I felt like they could defend the drives, keep Auburn out of the paint. And I thought the 5 that started was a small lineup, but I thought we matched up well with Auburn and what they try to do. And if they shoot the 3 ball, that's not going to beat you. And that was our plan.
You see anything from Larry in his first season and from what he's trying to get done that shows that there could be some promise and potential?
I don't know Larry. So it was interesting to meet him for the first time at SEC, I don't know, spring meetings or whatever they call them. So I'll be interested to see his recruiting. I'll be interested to see what style it is. I know he did the 1-2-2 pretty much in the second half, but that was against my bench. So I don't really know. I know a little of history because I kind of read up about him, where he was, and he was on the men's side and switched over right at Norfolk State to the women's side. So young, I would imagine, first head coaching job in the SEC. That's exciting. Just get them playing hard. When you're a first-time coach, you inherit players in the portal, you bring in players. It takes a period of time to get your, own recruit in here. And I used to say to build a foundation, but you don't build foundations with the with the transfer portal anymore. You never know from year to year who you're going to have on your squad.
Anybody else in person? Good. All right, we'll move over to Zoom. Reed.
Coach, you got the bounce back win today. Did you see what you were hoping to see from them today, coming off the loss, headed into the game against South Carolina next week?
Well, yeah, I saw what I expected. We're not the kind of team that just throws a pity party. I mean, we're pretty good. It just lost our composure at the end of the Texas game, and I thought we've had a great practice last night here, and just keep getting better. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty much a game where we did our job and we gave everybody an opportunity to play.
Once again, big game. They do have the week off until the Saturday night game. South Carolina ranked 3 in the country. LSU ranked 6. 7:40 actual tip. And as we said earlier, game day with basketball will be in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, so you'll have plenty of build-up for that. Quick timeout. We come back and get you ready for Jay Johnson. Can you believe 2 of the last 3 championship years? Yep, not only did you go to Omaha, you won it. Can they do something that no coach has ever done before, winning 3 of 4 national championships in baseball? We'll let you hear from Jay Johnson and talk some LSU baseball when we wrap this puppy up on a Wednesday edition of Tigers Roar right here with Buddy Songy, Jonathan Poche, of course, as always, Marty Campbell, and our great owners, Bert Carson and Alan Traylor, telling everybody, let's have a great year in 2026. Back after this.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
From the versatile Mazda CX-50 to the bold and elegant Mazda CX-90 to the best-selling Mazda CX-5. Don't just move. It's time to move and be moved, and come experience Mazda right now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Caught spiders.
Premier Pest Services.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Wrapping it up once again, so much anticipation for Jay Johnson, and we'll let you hear from the coach coming up here. JP, I'm going to kind of go through the early lineup for all of the Tiger fans. Cade Arambidi is going to be your catcher, and JP, they tell me he is primed for a great year. And then at first base, they call him Big Papa. I can take the sunglasses off when we're talking about LSU baseball, because now this is the good stuff. This is not recapping all the bad stuff. But Big Papa, JP, I don't remember an LSU first baseman and first sacker hovering around 295 or 300. But they tell me he looks good and he handles all the responsibilities, even though he's a Diet Coke short of 300.
Yeah, we thought Jared Jones was a big boy, and Zach York, he puts him in his shadow. Looking for great play discipline from York. He's working on his defense. He says he moves like a cat, so I'm excited to see him over there at the first sack.
Seth Dardar, who hit a home run off of Cade Anderson last year in Texas with Kansas State, is now at LSU. 1 year left. He'll play second base. Stephen Milam, the shortstop, the monster man, and then Trent Caraway from Oregon State going to be the third baseman. Stephen Milam, once again, a great lesson to all those kids out there who sometimes think they're too small. This guy plays much bigger and more consistent. Only had 5 errors last year playing shortstop, JP.
Yeah, one of the mainstays of that national championship team. He'll be back right in the middle of the lineup. He really caught fire offensively towards the end of the season last year, but was a dynamite shortstop. Him and Dickinson right there in the middle. Hopefully Dardar can step into those shoes and they can work that double play just like they were in the middle last year. But Stephen Milam going to be an everyday player in the pros one day. Mark it down, bud, man.
Braden Simpson could be your DH against right-handed hitters. Stanfield in left field. Derek Curiel moving to center field. He's picked up about 15 pounds of body and strength. And then Jake Brown at right field. Kason Evans, Cooper Moore, William Schmidt, and Zach Cowan. What about the role of Gavin Guidry? All those questions still to be answered. Loaded baseball team. JP, if I said I'm going to book you to Omaha, would you believe that they're going to make it back again?
I have confidence, bud, man. If there's a coach in the country that can do it, it is Jay Johnson. This team is absolutely loaded offensively, and the defensive arms, I'm telling you, all you LSU fans, you are going to be excited when they go to the bullpen. Not to say the starter's going to be bad, but this bullpen is going to be loaded with arms that can come in and do exactly what they need to do against right or left. They had to match up against whoever they play.
Here it is, Jay Johnson talking with the media this week.
We're close. I think the players have done a good job continuing to concentrate on getting ready, and we do as much as we can this week to make it like next week. So it is important. I feel like we've made some good strides the last couple weeks, and I'm glad we don't have another week of scrimmages after this, is what I would say.
Where do you think your team has made the most progress throughout, the preseason?
Yeah, good question. I think on a player-by-player basis, like we've tried to outline what we want them to be good at, or what we call as being great at what you're good at. And I think we've gotten some clarity for some players and have seen some upticks and improvement, particularly on the pitching staff, and feel good about a lot of guys that we can put in the game, and excited about that. So I think that's one thing. I think drawing good competition from each other has been helpful too. Like, I think the depth of the team on both sides looks like it's a strength, and so I feel like we're playing real games right now. It's like when you get through the SEC, if you make it to the NCAA tournament, you kind of feel like this piece, like there's nothing that you haven't seen before. I feel like our scrimmages have given us some of that going into the season. Now, you put people in the stands, the statistics go on your baseball card, if you will. You don't always know how some of those guys react, but I feel like the competitive level of the scrimmages has been pretty good.
I believe it's 2 scrimmages in a row. You guys have thrown Devin and Ethan Plog as well. I mean, Plog was somebody that someone told me that he's the best pitcher on the staff that nobody's talking about right now. Like, what does Plog do for you guys, I guess?
I think he's really hard to hit. I told the team after last Sunday that that's as close to doing something that would translate to the major leagues as anybody on our team has done on this field, at least this team this year. And, reminds me of Billy Wagner a little bit, the old Astros left-handed pitcher. And he's really growing in confidence and going to be a very key part of this thing.
Said before, some of the position player guys that transferred in, you were pleasantly surprised
Mm-hmm.
with how their defense had come along. Is it still trending in that direction?
Yeah, I think so. I think, that's – you're not going to get perfect in every form, and we probably have used up all of our chips, so to speak, on perfect in the portal with Paul, with Tommy, with the combined production and character of the guys that we got last year. So everybody, including the players we bring in as freshmen, they have something they need to work on, get better at. I think those guys have advanced. We've put a lot of work and time into individual defense, as we call it. They've probably taken more reps this year than any team that we've had here, and we've always done a lot of that. I think having a shortstop returning with as much experience as he had with Steven has really helped those guys. Having Justin Bridgman with me, with the infielders, has really helped because he's really good at evaluating and identifying it, bringing it to me, and then I can put it into practice or training. So that's been a good resource. So I feel good about how they're trending. There's going to be some mixing and matching with that group. Like, that's going to happen, and we're going to make changes in games, both offensively and defensively, to help guys be in position to succeed. And so you're going to use more guys. Then it's just not going to be a simple blueprint of this guy's playing here, this guy's playing here, and that's what we're doing. So kind of fun, I think.
Kind of along those lines, you guys have a bunch of infielders that y'all are rolling out there. I believe only 2 of them hit right-handed, Steven and Trent Caraway. And then there's a whole bunch of guys that can play second, that can play third, can play short, but they also hit left. Like, just how deliberate was that, I guess, as you were building that team? And then just, like, how beneficial is it to have so many guys that can play in the infield but also hit left?
Yeah, Simpson and John Pearson, obviously. Yeah, so that it's a little more balanced than it appears. I think, with Seth and Tanner, having a couple left-handed hitting infielders that have some experience. Obviously, Steven having experience. Jack and Ethan, they're freshmen, but they're left-handed. So, like I said, the easy word is platoon, situation, matchup. There's a lot of things we can do. And, we might plug some guy in there defensively for like 2 or 3 innings, and then by the time that spot comes up, it may be time to do something else. And that's why getting them all good on the dirt is really important. And I think with the way we're going to pitch, infield defense is going to be really important. And then offensively, it's just, like I said, I tell those young guys, man, they're getting a PhD in baseball right now. And it's not just from a coaching standpoint. It's like they're facing pitchers they have nowhere near seen. Like, I was kind of laughing at Jack and Ethan yesterday. They were sitting on the bench after the game, and they looked like Rocky Balboa after fighting Ivan Drago, and they're competing great, but it's like, hey, it wasn't quite like that at Catholic High or Palo Verde. So they're all doing a good job.
Look at Jay Johnson with a Rocky Balboa reference. Folks, real quick, Friday at 2 o'clock. That's right, 2 o'clock opening season. Friday the 13th, I'm superstitious. They will win big against Milwaukee. Friday at 2, Saturday at 1, Sunday at 1. They also play next week during the week, Monday and Wednesday. As always, everybody out at LSU expecting great things, expecting a trip to Omaha, but it's not about the outcome. It's about the process, and Jay Johnson is as good a coach as any that on that LSU campus, and now striving to be the first NCAA coach ever in baseball to win 3 of 4 national championships. He's got a chance to do it. Once again, we appreciate all of you tuning in. See you back next week, as always, with Buddy Songy, Jonathan Poche, right here, Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV.